That's my wonderful wife. There's not a day goes by that I don't think how lucky I am to have her in my life. You're going to sit down? Not a day goes by that I don't think how lucky I am to have her in my life. She is my soulmate. I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. Come on up here. She is my soulmate. I know that she loves me. She doesn't always like me, but I know she loves me. I want you all to know that I am very, very proud to be the father of the bride. The father of this beautiful, intelligent young woman before you today, seated next to her new husband, Frank. I would like to honor and acknowledge some special people in Kate's life, people that are no longer with us. Michelle's father, your Grandpa Bill. If he was here tonight, he would be so very, very proud of you. And he'd be very eager to party with us too. My mother and father, your Nono and Nona. If they were here tonight, they'd be very proud and very happy for you both. In fact, I can almost hear Nona saying, Katie, your husband is a nice boy, but why he don't grow tomato in the garden? And you're just gonna have to deal with that one. I don't know what to tell her. It is my privilege to welcome you all here tonight and to thank you for being here to share in the most important day in Kate and Frank's life. Some of you traveled some distance to be here, and on behalf of the bride and groom and both families, I would like to extend a special thank you to you for being here to celebrate this day with them. When Michelle and I got married, I had two sons of my own, Alex and Justin. They were 11 years old at the time. Kate came into my life when she was only 8 years old, and her brother Tim was only 3 years old. Until then, I never knew the joy, happiness, and diversity of raising a daughter. Daughters can be the most pleasant joy a father can experience. And on some days, the Bride of Chucky, Poltergeist, and Exorcist all in a 2-hour period. I now understand why some animals instinctively eat their young. As Kate was growing up, I remember hearing about this book to help parents of teenagers. It was entitled, Get Out of My Life. Get out of my life, but first would you drive me and Cheryl to the mall? I should have read that book. But despite those years of Kate versus 3 boys, we managed to survive, and Michelle kept reminding me, it's just a phase they're going through, just a phase. And when Kate finally reached that phase where she would actually listen to what I had to say, I gradually taught her everything I know, and she was none the wiser. To say that she's ambitious would be an understatement. Imprinted in large black letters on her bedroom wall is a quote from Dr. Seuss, and it says, "Oh, the places you'll go." And that's the motto she lives by. All through school, she always came home with good grades, with the exception of math. In high school, no big deal. In high school, she was the captain of the cheerleading squad, and again at Humber College. She worked for CBC's Hockey Night in Canada. She's got a first name basis with Don Cherry and Ron McLean. She was a Oski Wee Wee. She was a programming assistant for the Sochi Olympic Winter Games. She wanted a career in television in front of the camera, and she went out and got it at Cable 14.
Wrong sport.
She's ambitious and hardworking, and her entire family is so very, very proud of her. Now let's rewind a couple years. There she was, working hard, advancing in her career, when one day she came home and said, "This is the guy." This is the guy. Frank is the guy. And you know, I never heard her speak this way about any of her previous boyfriends, which is understandable because none of her previous boyfriends were named Frank. I was so very happy for her. And I could see that she was pretty serious about this Frank fellow. So, just to make a little conversation, I asked her, what does Frank do for a living? And she said, oh, he's a manager at a convenience store. Pardon? Manager at a convenience store, she said. That's what I thought you said. Now, people, we all know that convenience stores do not have managers, do not have presidents, do not have CEOs. In fact, as far as I know, convenience stores only have clerks. So I'm thinking, okay, my little Katie, she can be a bit gullible at times. Perhaps this clerk went and told her that he's a manager in order to impress her, and it seems to be working. I mean no disrespect to convenience store workers, but what I'm thinking here is this Frank dude went and spent 5 years at university studying business, and this is the career path he chose? Could he really be so unambitious? I began to cringe as I envisioned the kind of life my little girl would have if she were to actually marry this guy. I was later clued in that Frank is responsible for managing a large portion of the Stewart family business of Avondale convenience stores. It appears when there's an entire chain of stores, they actually do have managers and presidents and career paths and stuff like that. I learned a very valuable lesson that day. And the lesson is, never judge a book by how your daughter describes the cover. I'm sorry I misjudged you, Frank. As I got to know Frank and his family, I could see that he's an honest, hardworking young man with a good business sense. Something no doubt being passed on to him by his father. But then again, after listening to his speech, I wonder if that's even possible. So, fast forward, back to the future, right to now, today, here. So you finally got married. Congratulations. Now that your rings are on your fingers, you can expect to start getting a lot of useless advice from people who actually think they know what they're talking about, and I want to be the first. The key to a happy marriage is good communication. Men and women communicate quite differently from one another. Sometimes women don't give clear instruction as to what she wants her man to do. Now be careful. Be careful, I'll stand over here. So sometimes women don't give clear instruction to their men. In fact, Kate, when your mother wants me to do something, she'll ask me a question. And I have to decipher the code in the question to figure out what it is she wants me to do. Well, just the other day, in fact, I left my underwear on the bedroom floor. Now, do you think she would just tell me, pick those up? No. That would be clear, concise, and to the point. Pick those up. No confusion here, right? Instead, she'll ask me, are those yours? Well, I sure hope so, because if they're not, I got a few... If they're not, I have a few questions of my own. And there are some questions you just cannot answer correctly. Guys, if your wife ever asks you, does this dress make me look fat? And you hesitate for just 1 second. In her mind, you've already answered the question and it's not what she wanted to hear.
make me look fat.
Now, fortunately, I've never experienced this personally. I've never experienced this one personally, but I've heard about it. And I'd also like to dispel the myth that you married your best friend. How many times have you heard guys say, I married my best friend? No, you didn't. It doesn't work that way. Your friends are friends, but the person you marry is your soulmate. Guys, let's face it. Your best friend can say something really stupid. And you can easily turn to him and say, dude, are you just plain stupid? Or are you some special kind of stupid? And it's no big deal, right? Try saying that to your wife. You might as well just take a bath with a toaster. Now, fortunately, I've never experienced this personally, but I've heard about it. So in summary, if you're gonna speak in code, keep it real simple so us males can understand it. And number 2, remember the male brain processes information quite differently than the female brain. If you're gonna ask a sensitive question, be prepared for an insensitive answer. No, honey, that dress does not make you look fat. It's your fat that makes you look fat. Hey, don't give me this politically incorrect stuff. Fat boy talking here, okay? And finally, remember you did not marry a friend. You married someone far more important than a friend. Now, before we toast the bride and groom, once again, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Frank into the family. Frank, I know that you saw the movie with Robert De Niro about the family, about the Manzoni family. Pretty accurate depiction. So I know that you know that I know that you know what you're getting yourself into, you know? Yet you're still here. So in that case, I would like to welcome you into the family, Frank. You're in the inner circle now. If you would all please raise your glasses, I would like to propose a toast to the bride and groom, to the new Mr. and Mrs. Franks. I'm not done yet. Settle down. I was hoping to impart some special knowledge and information that you could walk away and remember for the rest of your lives, but all I could come up with was, remember the 3 most important words you could ever say to each other are, I love you. Salud. Salud! Take that, Stuart.